It is one of the most disturbing unsolved crimes in American history. The Keddie cabin murders took place during 1981 in Keddie, California. The deceased in this quadruple homicide were members of the Sharp family, and the details of the murders remain shrouded in mystery. It all starts off just a couple years prior, when Sue Sharp, the mother of the family, left Connecticut along with her 5 kids upon separating from her allegedly abusive husband, James. After initially renting a trailer that was owned by her brother in the past in Quincy, she and her children eventually moved to a cushy cabin in Keddie. April 11th, 1981, was quite an eventful day for the family, as one of the kids had baseball tryouts, a few of them went hitchhiking, and several of them hung out at a friend's house. One of the Sharp children, Sheila, was the only person who decided to sleep over. Little did Sheila know what was about to unfold upon her family and the horror she will soon discover. In the next morning, Sheila returned home from her sleepover and discovered a gruesome scene. Sue Sharp, John Sharp, and Dana Wingate were found bound and bludgeoned to death in cabin 28. The murders were particularly cruel, involving stabbing and beating with both 2 knives and a hammer respectively. Remarkably, 2 of the Sharp family's sons, Rick, Greg, and another family friend, Justin, were found in another room of the cabin, completely unharmed. They were unaware of the tragedy that had occurred during the night. One person was missing in the aftermath of this whole ordeal, however: Tina. While the family tried to have faith that Tina was still alive, all hope was lost in April 1984, when a skull was discovered at Camp 18, California, close by Feather Falls. A skull that belonged to Tina Sharp. The crime scene at the cabin was complicated by the brutality of the murders and the lack of a clear motive. The weapons used, the medical tape, and electrical wire used for binding added to the complexity of the case. Not to mention that at one point, Jamie Seabold, a resident of the house that Tina slept over at, aided in evacuating the children that remained unharmed out of the cabin, but also entered through the back door to check if anyone else was alive, potentially contaminating evidence in doing so. Despite extensive investigations, no arrests were made. The leads that were investigated in the case involved questioning the prime suspect, which was the neighbor, Martin Smart, who claimed that his claw hammer inexplicably went missing. Several other neighbors were also questioned, many of whom recall seeing a suspicious green van parked outside the Sharp family home around 9 p.m. The most promising lead was the witness statement of Justin, one of the kids sleeping in the cabin that night, who believed he dreamt about the details of the murder. As it turns out, he actually witnessed it, and while under hypnosis, was able to provide more information about what transpired that night, including giving a description of the 2 perpetrators. Ultimately, none of these leads were fruitful, fueling frustration and speculation within the community. It is widely believed that the murders were the result of a personal vendetta against the family, based on the brutality of the crime. Rumors that the murders were connected to drug-related activities also surfaced as well. After over 40 years, the Keddie cabin murders remain an unsolved mystery, with no one definitively linked to the crime. The cabin itself was eventually removed due to its association with the disturbing events. The incident has been the subject of documentaries and investigative reports. The viciousness of the murders, the lack of resolution, and the enduring mystery continue to captivate the interest of true crime enthusiasts and the public. The Keddie cabin murders stand as a dark chapter in criminal history, leaving behind unanswered questions, speculation, and the haunting memory of the brutal events that unfolded in Cabin 28 on that fateful night in 1981.